Hi, I am Dr. Ilango Karupanan. I am a retired ambassador. I want to draw your attention to how identity politics of race and religion is endangering our country's long-term survival. I have been privileged to represent Malaysia as a diplomat for over 3 decades. In that time, I've had the time to observe Malaysia from the outside. What is the issue? Lately, identity politics seems to have gotten out of hand. We had the Chinese new villages, Bakute issue, vernacular schools, and now the socks saga. All these have been used one after another to create racial tensions and polarization. We must be careful. Identity politics can be destructive. History tells us that countries that were once stable and prosperous can self-destruct into chaos due to damaging identity politics. I sincerely think we must stop and reflect before it is too late. What may sound like good politics may not be good for the country's national interest or its long-term survival. Let me illustrate Muslim and non-Muslim texts. We would all sink. The only way to survive on a ship is by cooperating. So it is the same with the country. If the country is damaged, there is no use. So survival of the country is a key national interest. This national interest overrides everything else. In case you're thinking that national interest is the sole responsibility of the government, let me tell you you're wrong. It is true that the foreign ministry and government are responsible for the big things like defending the territory and sovereignty. But there is also a crucial national aspect of national interest where we all have a role to play. It is about shaping a positive view of the international community, about Malaysia as a country that can manage and regulate its domestic politics and economy. A positive perception is crucial for foreign investments. Our domestic affairs must also be seen to be in order if we want our views to be taken seriously when we speak on international issues. We should not underestimate the power of the international community's views. Can you think of any country that is chaotic and unstable and yet is able to progress, attract investments, and so on and so forth? Now, the international community is not a formal group. Neither is its perception formed overnight. The perception is built over time by observing the country. Eventually, long-term outlook is shaped. The international community involves other countries, of course, particularly the major industrialized ones. But it also includes other international organizations like the World Bank, IMF, international media, multinational corporations, non-governmental organizations, think tanks, and others. Sometimes we can get a clue as to how the international community perceives us through media reports. More often than not, the signs are subtle. If we have good diplomats, they should be able to discern them through the interactions on the ground and provide feedback to the government. So how have we fared? From the 1970s through the 80s, 90s, and even into the early 2000s, Malaysia was viewed positively. We had healthy race relations, there was harmony. Because of that, investments came in, jobs were created, and we progressed. We were seen as a role model. I can relate my personal experiences here. As a young desk officer in Wisma Putra in the early 1990s responsible for Africa, I handled many visits from Africa. I also took notes during high-level meetings. The African leaders wanted to know our secret and learn from it. The same questions were raised during our Prime Minister's visit to Africa. It wasn't so much economic policies that interested them. After all, they could get them from other countries or the World Bank. They wanted to know our secret. They concluded correctly. It was religious and racial harmony. As a diplomat, I would hear this in my postings throughout my career, whether I was posted in Europe, Africa, Middle East, or the United States. I heard the same thing. The international community saw Malaysia's multiracial harmony as the secret. No wonder the World Bank labeled us as one of the East Asian miracles. We were also the subject of many case studies in leading business schools, including Harvard University. Perhaps we were reinforcing the unity without realizing it. Where are we today? I retired in 2020, the year that I had anticipated to retire in a developed country. Sadly, we missed that target. But what is really worrying is that today we are struggling to move on. It appears that we are stuck in the middle income trap, which means that we are unable to progress to the next stage of development. I think we are at a crucial juncture, and we should really be concerned about how the international community is now perceiving us. Let me be clear, this international community is not sentimental about any country. Its perception can change. We can be displaced by new competitors. If that happens, we will fall out of the radar, so to speak. Foreign investors may not be inclined to come. Even domestic investments could be affected if local companies decide to move their businesses elsewhere. Take the sock issue, for example. I understand why Muslims are angry. I am angry and appalled too. This is clearly wrong and unacceptable. But the right thing to do is to let the law take its course. Championing politics by turning it into a religious issue is damaging. What does it say about the rule of law? We must be naive to think that this would go unnoticed in the world. The Washington Post has written about Malaysia. For those who do not know, the Washington Post is one of the most influential papers in America, along with the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. The article informs its readers that religion is becoming a source of racial tensions in Malaysia. Importantly, it concludes that racial tensions can affect investment decisions by pointing out that the company was forced to cancel its planned IPO. There are other reports too, but as a pensioner, I do not have the resources to track and analyze them. I'm also not saying that these articles indicate that we are doomed. I'm saying that it is shaping international perception in a negative way. Make no mistake about it, a negative perception would jeopardize our progress. Malaysians are young and politicians are getting younger. They do not know how Malaysia was in its early years. We did not have all these highways and development. Many parts of the country did not have electricity, telephone, or even piped water. Luckily, we learned the right lessons of 1969 and managed to bring about harmony and progress. I've been posted to some of the least developed countries in the world, and I've also visited many others. I've seen how these countries are struggling with their own issues at home and therefore unable to attract investments. I could not help thinking how lucky we are to have got the right formula. I think it is time we had a serious discussion about saving Malaysia from self-destruction. We need a new consensus. What is this new consensus? As I have explained earlier, multiracial harmony is a core national interest because it is key to Malaysia's survival. So before taking any action, I would like to ask everyone, whether you are leaders, followers, influencers, writers, academics, NGOs, to test your ideas through the lens of this national interest. Ask whether your actions or words would create unity and harmony, or would it create polarization? If the answer is yes, then by all means go ahead. If the answer is no, then stop, or ask yourself if there is another way of doing or approaching this matter. Can it be turned into an opportunity to teach and foster cooperation? Now, in conclusion, let me summarize my points. If not, stop and look at other ways of doing it. Let us not carelessly push the country to self-destruction for short-term gains. Looking ahead, we must navigate an uncertain future. Let us not damage the country's resilience by irresponsible identity politics. I encourage everyone to reflect on how you can contribute to protecting Malaysia's national interests by fostering unity. Share your ideas in the comments below. Let us start a conversation about this new consensus. If you like this video, please hit the like, share and subscribe buttons. In my future videos, I shall examine other issues through the lens of national interest. Thank you very much.